I'm particularly thankful for organizing this session and my visit to Kabul, to Afghanistan. That's my first time here, and to be honest, I didn't expect that much respect, but I'm so thankful for these meetings and this visit to be happened because of my dear friend Mr. Zaland and Mr. Khanit. And my friend Javed met me at the airport, and that was so warming and welcoming meeting. And a couple of you I already known. We had an opportunity to meet with them in different occasions in different countries. And I don't feel like, the foreign here. I feel like my home. So I'm so thankful for this opportunity. So speaking about Afghanistan and Uzbekistan relations, I think the relationship has long been.
You can allow after I say the sentence.
So you're going to translate now?
Yes.
Thank you. Before my speech starts, Mr. Khanit laid out in Pashto, but I tried to make sense of it. Some words I catch and try to construct the whole sentence. Even though I don't understand fully the language, I tried to catch some words, and that was helpful. And I think that was about how Uzbekistan's approach towards Afghanistan has been changing over the last couple of years. And speaking about today's topic, I'm going to a little bit speak about the background info. I'm going to give some background information in terms of economic relations and cultural ties between two nations, and potential opportunities for future academic cooperation between both Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan and Republic of Uzbekistan. So currently, Uzbekistan's single most important foreign policy priority is, it sounds like this. That's the concept, and that's a vision for Uzbekistan's government, and especially the President Shavkat Mirziyoyev. The government of Uzbekistan sees Afghanistan as an integral part of Uzbekistan. And in every occasion, the President tries to bring up the topic of Afghanistan, in every occasion, in every scene, in every podium internationally. So that's why I have to, first of all, bring the Uzbekistan's vision and the foreign policy concept, Afghanistan being an important part of that vision. And that integration process would be realized through, first of all, economic cooperation and cultural ties between two nations, and also academic cooperation between two nations. So, turning to economic relations, the important thing is trade. Trade has always been the link and the important area where it just connects not just neighbors, but far distant countries together. The most important example could be China and the United States. We see the Chinese and the United States located in different parts of the world, and even though they are located in that geographically far away from between each other, they are so connected through trade. So that's why, as being a neighboring countries, trade is much more important for us to bring two nations together. Is very important area to link two nations. So we are not there yet as two nations to bring our full potentials into reality. For example, in 2024, export to Afghanistan from Uzbekistan was 1.4 billion. In the first 8 months of 2025, however, it was 872 million. But from when it comes to importing from Afghanistan to Uzbekistan, the situation is a little bit different, because we import less from Afghanistan, but we export more to Afghanistan. That trade imbalance could be addressed first. Why? Because as I always speak about economic cooperation, I would kind of in practice put the relationship between Uzbekistan and Afghanistan as economic convergence. The economic and trade should be the facilitator for these two nations to integrate together. So that's why the first issue, we should import from Afghanistan a lot rather than exporting more. So the government of Uzbekistan is working on that extensively. For example, the Abdullah Aripov, the Prime Minister of Uzbekistan's office, is trying to increase the bilateral trade over the last few years to $3 billion per year, and that's a huge figure. And I think if the trade balance between these two nations is not addressed, the future economic cooperation and economic integration and economic convergence is not possible. So that's the area we should work on. We should pay more attention importing from Afghanistan rather than being obsessed with exporting to Afghanistan. And I should highlight here the importance of trade balance. Because if trade balance, as I mentioned earlier, is not addressed, there is no any discussions about the integration of these two nations. And I should also highlight why there is that trade balance. And I think that's for understandable reason, because of the capacity of both nations and the international environment, not that friendly approach towards these two nations being integrated into each other. That two things, for example, the first being the capacity on the both sides for increasing the trade, and international environment are not allowing these two countries to fully realize their potential. And the second important thing, apart from trade, is going to be transport. So transporting to Afghanistan and constructing the facilities and the railroads and roads leading to Afghanistan and through Afghanistan to internationally, the goods from Central Asia and Uzbekistan is a very much important thing. As Mr. Khanit mentioned in his speech, Uzbekistan is a landlocked country, and Afghanistan is a landlocked country, but Uzbekistan is a double landlocked country. So both the geographical condition of these two nations is actually shouldn't be seen as a challenge, as a problem for us. Yeah, yes, there is a challenge, but in my opinion, this should be seen as an opportunity for both nations to come together and work on transportation challenge and transportation issues we have on hand today. Yes, in transportation area, the single most important project for both Uzbekistan and Afghanistan could be Trans-Afghan Railway. I think everyone here are aware of the importance and significance of this railway project. Why? It links, first of all, Uzbekistan to Afghanistan, and further it links the Central Asian countries to through Afghanistan to the Indian Ocean, where we can transport goods easily from Afghanistan, through Afghanistan to international market. And on that note, Uzbekistan is very much closely working on realization of this project. Uzbekistan is working with both Afghani friends and in Russia, and also and other stakeholders like China. In realizing this transportation route, Uzbekistan is set to aim to use this corridor that carries goods by rail from China via Kyrgyzstan. We know that we have already China, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, the transportation corridor. It's not railroad corridor, it's an automobile road corridor. And Uzbekistan wants to bring goods from China through Kyrgyzstan to Uzbekistan and further export it to Afghanistan. And as part of that, Uzbekistan is willing to offer a significant discounts for countries who is willing to carry their goods through Uzbekistan to Afghanistan and further to Pakistan and then international market. And Uzbekistan is willing to give some discounts up to 70% of their up to 70% discount for countries who are willing to transport their goods from Uzbekistan through Afghanistan and Pakistan and to international market. And that's a huge figure on the part of both Uzbekistan and Afghanistan. I'm not sure about Afghanistan, but Uzbekistan is willing to give up some extra gains and give extra discounts up to 70%. And the third important thing in really increasing the economic cooperation between two countries could be the border community trade zones. Until now, we have in Termez cargo center and free zone called Ayrton in Uzbekistan's Termez region, which is fully operational for Afghan friends to visit even for 15 days visa-free. They can stay there, they can do their business, they can do shops and everything. Even we organize in that Termez trade zone hospitals and hotels. Afghan citizens and Afghan people easily go cross the border and visa-free stay there for 15 days. And some reports suggest that Uzbekistan is investing in a duty-free zone up to 36 hectares near Hayratan area, the border area between Uzbekistan and Afghanistan, to facilitate trade and transport between two countries. And this could be the third very important area where these two countries really realize and increase their existing potential. The trade is first, transportation corridor is second, and the third is border community-based trade zones. Another very important area for Uzbek authority and Uzbek side could be, and still is, the investment in Afghanistan. And Uzbekistan is very much active in investing in Afghanistan. For example, the Prime Minister's office announced in a press release about the signing of 35 investment and trade agreements worth of 2.5 billion between Afghanistan and Uzbekistan. That's a huge number. And also, investment being the fourth important point, I would say the diplomatic cooperation between two countries is really boosting. If you look at the data of 2024 and 2025's 11 months, there are so many visits on the part of Afghanistan to Uzbekistan and on the part of Uzbekistan to Afghanistan, which says the engagement between two nations are really increasing, and which is very important for future cooperation and future integration of these two countries. And cultural ties is very important. For example, in just January and June of 2025, about more than 200,000 Afghan citizens crossed the border and visited Uzbekistan. And many Uzbeks, I'm not sure about the exact figure of Uzbeks visiting Afghanistan, but a lot of Uzbek, not just governmental or other institutional-based citizens are coming here for not just business purposes. They are coming to explore Afghan culture and Afghan landscape and sceneries. So tourism is the most important area where integration could be strengthened through. And here I'm going to turn into future the opportunities for both Afghanistan and Uzbekistan, in which area we should work to even further strengthen our cooperation. I mentioned the border community trade zones are important, but the border community trade zones, not just in Uzbekistan, but other the countries which share borders with Afghanistan is very important. For example, Tajikistan shares a longest border with Afghanistan. Uzbekistan, this is a short one, but very important border. And Turkmenistan also share huge border with Afghanistan. All three countries, they have their own approach, individual and individualistic and their own approach towards organizing their trade zones on the border. But I think the most important thing for the three countries, they should work together with Afghanistan part and come together and just coordinate their border community cooperation. For example, Termez trade zone is huge, and that's multimodal and very different on its purposes. But Afghanistan trade zones is small. I mean, the Turkmenistan trade zone between Afghanistan is smaller in capacity, but for different purposes. Tajikistan trade border, they also have a trade border zones, different, and in size they are way smaller than Uzbekistan one. So that area we should work as a Central Asian three countries towards Afghanistan. We should work together between us and work with Afghanistan to coordinate and to increase the capacity of that border regions. And the last future scenarios I would lay out as four following pillars. For example, we have capital-to-capital relationship. So Kabul to Tashkent, or Kabul to Ashgabat or Kabul to Dushanbe. So that's a capital to capital relationship. That relationship is strong. That relationship is valid so far. But actually, gradually, that relationship should transition from capital to capital relationship to the relationship which is community engagement relationship. So we share borders, but on the capital level, we talk a lot, but on the community level, that engagement is lacking. So that could be another area. The second pillar of the future scenarios is going to be like academic engagement. And academic engagement should be paramount in building long-term relationship between Kabul and Tashkent. So in the morning with meeting with Mr. Khalid, I mentioned the importance of academic engagement. So people here, we understand the importance of academic engagement. So government-to-government relationship and practical relationship and business relationship is very important. But if those relationships will not supported by academically proven points and academically proven the thoughts and things, I think it's not fundamentally important for strengthening relationship between two nations. Why? Because we're living in a globalized world. If Afghanistan and Uzbekistan try to engage and try to build integrated relationship, it's important, it's good for two countries, but if we support that relationship with academically proven points, it could just spread, let's say, alarm and reverberation around the world, and the world community also would understand our concerns and our interests. For that to happen, academic relations is the most important. Why? Because we write a lot, we write books, we go to media, we speak on the media, and we are the ones who bring about the issue to the international community. So that's why academic relationship is very much important for strengthening these two, strengthening ties between two nations. Bilateral confidence building is very important for two nations. Why? So we two nations, we understand each other. We know our limitations. We know our cultural stuff and our culture. We ourselves, Afghans, you know your culture, and Uzbeks, we know our culture, and we have been living together for thousands of years. And bilateral confidence building should be very important and should be focused on as an important area. Why? I don't think we need any third stakeholder, even though it's country or any international organizations or regional organizations, to teach us or to lecture us how to deal with each other. So on that level, we should be more focusing on our own strength as the two countries, rather than bringing third stakeholder, a third organization, or third regional organization, or international organization, to come to here and to engage or to bring us together. That would be the last point, I would say, and that's very much important, the point I would make for today's sessions. Thank you very much.